Say that again. Do that again.
Yeah, say that again. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty
Oh,
good.
I forgot to have you set this up. I was
It's all right.
Okay. You did a 7-day water fast to cure your thyroid nodule. You're trying to dissolve a thyroid nodule, and you have no symptoms of thyroid nodule for quite a while. You did that with Immunix, and then you decided to do a fast to see if you could, speed up the dissolution of the nodule. And now you broke the fast about what? How many days ago? 8 days, I think?
Let's see. Exactly 1 week today.
Okay. So tell us what you have been eating in this last week to give us a sense of how you have been managing yourself. You look wonderful.
The first 3 days I just drank juice and vegetable broth. And then I started eating some steamed vegetables, or some of the vegetables from the broth. Started to really crave them. And, it took a little while to get back into my normal eating, which now I'm, eating what I normally do, which is vegetarian, kind of a high carb, low fat kind of deal.
Right.
Right. Started exercising again. I didn't exercise at all during the water fast. I didn't have any energy for it. And it took a few days to get that back. Felt a little weak, but I'm back.
Do you grow your own potatoes?
Yeah, I do.
Do you use the sweet potato leaves? You cook those?
Sweet potatoes, did you say?
Sweet potato leaves?
I can't grow sweet potatoes here.
Oh.
They don't grow in this. They only grow in a warmer climate. Sweet potatoes, right?
Yeah.
You did say so. Yeah. No, they don't grow here. They're very hard to come by, actually, in Austria. They're rather exotic and very expensive. I think they come from, like, Turkey or Greece or something where it's warmer.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Africa.
But if I had them, I would use them. I don't know. What do you use sweet potato leaves for?
Now you stir fry them?
Sounds good.
Yeah, typical, tamari and garlic and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? Since my water fast, I have no interest in sweet stuff anymore, which is weird because I'm somebody that would go for sweet over salty any day of the week. But now I was craving the salty food, and nothing for sweet.
All right, hold your hand up so we can see how you test. And I want you to test, does that indicate a fundamental change in my body?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now channel, so just what pops into your mind about what that change could be? What could that change be?
Oh. It's kind of loud there. What popped into my mind was there's something with the relationship between iodine and my thyroid. And what popped into my mind is that the thyroid was craving that. That's why I wanted it. And
Yes.
whereas, they tell you to avoid iodine. The regular straight, regular doctor says that, but then the naturopathic doctor says, no, you got to take iodine. So I was a little confused about, which way I should go with that before the fast. And I was testing about it, and I was getting avoid the iodine, don't use it. And now, after the water fast, now I'm testing that it's good for me. So.
Yeah, well, it is. And do you use any? You're right. When your body shifts, see, regular doctors deal with most people,
Right.
and most people's bodies are set up to age, to get diseased, and die. That's why they get cancer, heart attacks, all that stuff. And when you alter your body the way we are, your body is set up differently. It's set up not to age and not to get diseased and not to die. It's a simple thing. You know, like we were testing about virtual realities, which is what we're going to do today. And I was doing that yesterday with Barb and Ross. And we were testing that aging is a virtual reality. And it's one that...
yeah, that makes sense.
And people generate it and buy into it and live in it, and that's what they do, you know. And it's,
Exactly.
oh boy. It's so funny because I look at Franny's father and Greg's father, and they're both in their 90s, and they're both so different. They're so completely different. You know, like Franny's dad is still doing projects.
Yeah, my dad's like really in great shape. He's awesome.
I bet he is.
He is. He really is.
Well, you know, you look like the kind of woman who has a great relationship with her father.
Yep.
You
I
know,
do.
some of us are like that, and then others, like I had to really. The funny thing is, in my life, I feel like I'm just coming into relationship with my father and mother now, in a way that I never was. You know, and they've been gone many years, and yet now I'm like loving and appreciating them and enjoying them and seeing what they gave me, and it's totally spontaneous. You know, it isn't anything I'm trying to do. These things just pop into my head out of nowhere. You know, about their gifts to me and my appreciation for them. So, you know,
It's a beautiful thing.
yep. Well, it's all about being big. We're training ourselves to be big. And big people, you know, love their parents.
Yeah. They do.
And you know, so now to get back to this discussion of the specifics of the thyroid and the iodine and so on, I want you to test: has my thyroid fundamentally changed in the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Yes.
So you've done something good for your thyroid.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I'm happy to see that.
I also learned something else. Most of my life I've paid attention to my diet and exercise, and I've always wanted to find the perfect way of eating. And I finally got it that changes, you know, all the time. That it's not going to be one way every day for the rest of my life. And it was so liberating to figure that out. Like, why didn't I figure that out a long time ago?
Well, your hand again. Let's see your test. And test, is it because I've been getting these signals from God about how to direct myself?
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
Has my relationship with God shifted in the last 3 months?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, God makes all the difference. You know, like the way we relate to God makes all the difference. You know, that because here we have this real pal to be our friend and guide and so on, and test, another thing, just to go back to angels, have I had the guidance of a great many angels, in the past few months?
I know that already. I have.
Yeah, that people are not using their resources. They just disown them. And, religious people do. People who go to church disown their relationship with God. And they go to church every Sunday and they're just not making use of God the way they could. It's funny because I have some Christian neighbors who I think do make better use of their relationship with God than many other Christians I've known. And they're doing so well, and they're so sweet. And they can't actually... I don't think they can really get into testing, So, but
do they like to talk about God?
A little bit, they do. I talk, but I can see that they're just happy and prosperous, and like they're in relationship with each other. And I talk with the woman, the wife. I talk with her about God and how the way she tests is by opening the Bible. A lot of people, that's the way they test. They open the Bible at random and they read a passage and try to learn something from it. It's a very clunky way of testing.
Yeah.
Because you can't
But
really...
it does sound good.
Well, I'll tell you what. One good way of testing is testing through books. Or, like yesterday we were testing through the Web College. And Ross tested exactly the things that she was talking about before she started testing without realizing that she was testing them. Until it came out that, God guided her to the exact things that we were working on in the Web College. It's just, you have a lot of experiences like that and you realize that you're getting exactly what you need in each moment.
Well, that's why I love the Web College. I use it all the time.
Yeah, you do. That's you.
That's you.
Uh-oh, somebody... I got an echo, a major echo here. Oh, okay. No more. It's gone. Yeah. What happened? Do you know where that came from?
Me? I don't know.
Okay. Well, with that, Barb, what I want you to do with Jen is to test for virtual realities. And she can share with you about things, and you can test if they're virtual realities like you were doing yesterday with Ross. How about that?
Sounds like fun to me.
Barb, can you hear me? Barb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead then.
So you want to test on the hub? Is that...
Okay, I'll tell you again. I want you to test for virtual realities, Jen's virtual realities, like you did yesterday.
Okay, so say some things that you think might be virtual realities and we will test.
Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Living in Austria.
Pretty real as it gets.
Well, right now we're thinking of moving back to California, and I have it in my mind what that looks like, and then what living here looks like, and I think it's all mixed up in virtual reality.
So,
should I test that?
so maybe you should test on whether what you think is going to happen when you move to California is a virtual reality or not.
Okay. Yeah, I got a yes.
And okay, got another one?
Another virtual reality.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, let me think here. Relationships come to mind. I'm just saying, who am I going to throw under the bus right now?
Leo. Yeah.
The question would be, am I living in a virtual reality in my relationship with person's name, like my son, let's say, my daughter, or my husband, whatever?
Okay. Am I living in a virtual reality with my husband? Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think sometimes, it's a virtual reality and sometimes it's not,
Well,
if I didn't have the
Test-
virtual reality running,
test-
I probably would have left years ago.
Test that. Test that. Would I, if I came into reality, would I have left?
Yeah.
Okay. If I was in reality now, would I leave?
I gotta know.
Okay, good. Good.
Good.
See,
I guess I'm staying.
well, no, you know what? You know why that's good? It's good because you actually just learned something, didn't you? Like, what did you learn just now?
That I want to stay with him the way it is. That it's fine. It's okay. I can do this.
Test this question. Have I wanted to? I'm getting an echo again.
Yeah.
And what is that? What changed? Did somebody go off mute or something?
You're just breaking up, but it sounds better now.
Well, now it's okay.
Yeah.
It's gone. Whatever it was is gone. When I think about leaving him, am I trying to protect him from me? Test that.
No.
Barb, what did you get? Did you test it?
I was testing that for myself. I got yes. For her, yes, I got yes.
I got
Well,
yes.
actually, for her, no. For her, no.
Okay.
When I want to leave people, it's like that.
Okay.
What
Good.
did you get? Fire.
Yes.
You gotta guess.
But sometimes, it may see some of these tests are, this is not a very exact activity we're doing. Okay, we're just
Yeah.
getting general bits of information here and there, sort of to.
I think when you want to leave and you think you can get something better, do something better.
Yeah, I think that's why anybody would leave, right?
No,
I mean,
No.
I don't ever really think I'm going to leave. Just, things get uncomfortable and it's just like a little fantasy that goes on. But the reality is that I'm not going to leave. I have 2 kids with this guy. I'm committed to it. He's a good person. He's a good husband. And
Hold up those fingers again. Now, and also stay relaxed, okay? Because I really want you to be in touch with yourself here. So ask, is there something better?
is there something better? Yeah.
Is the idea that there's something better a virtual reality?
Good idea. Yes.
Funny thing, isn't it? That you get, yes, there's something better, and then you test that it's a virtual reality, that there's something better.
Well, that's a puzzle, isn't it?
See, sorting, people can tend to create, like here, you could just test this. Do I create negative virtual realities, which I think I need?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I don't even need to test that, but I did, and it's a yes.
okay, one of them, like, Barb, what did you get when you tested that just now?
Yes.
Is one of the virtual realities you create that you're bad for people? One of your negative ones. Do you create a negative virtual reality that you're bad for people?
Yeah, that they'll eventually, yeah. Won't like me anyway, yeah.
Or that you're, like, do you ever create a negative virtual reality that you'll actually damage somebody if you stay with them?
Oh, yeah, that they're not enjoying me anyway, yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
Well, the people that I like, you know, the people that like me, I think like I help them, but the ones that I like, I think I bring them down. Sometimes. I mean, deep in my heart, I think that'd be good proof now, but usually those kind of people don't want to confront anything.
Right.
So I think I'm better because I disturb their balance or what they think is their balance.
Well, test this. Do I believe that if somebody doesn't want to do something, they shouldn't do it?
I believe it, yeah. Well,
Huh?
I don't believe that, no, but I don't push them because I don't want to lose them. And then it just ends up getting worse.
Okay. So people, you know, just because somebody doesn't want to do something doesn't mean that they shouldn't do it, right?
Right. That's what you mean?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, you know, Jen, what you were talking about San Francisco and moving to back to California. Okay. To go back to that, because that's an interesting, like, if you take that and you look at it in the light of relationship, like what we're talking about relationship, you know, there's something there that's like very parallel, because obviously a move, like if you get in touch with the potential reality of a move, it could really be an improvement. It could make an improvement in your life to move somewhere. Or it could be a, you know, it could be a downgrade. It could be like the opposite of an improvement. It could be a nothing, you know, or just a big
A disaster.
yeah, disaster, or a lot of work for nothing, or whatever, you know. And if you look at it in the light of it's a virtual reality, and you start there, what you're trying to do is remove all of the virtual aspects that you're trying to live in, the dream that you have about it, and get down to the, you know, the right kind of virtual reality is, what can I construct if I'm there, and how will that, you know, do more of what I want to get done? Or do I even need that? Like so, for example, suppose you get that you could, like, double your income by moving to California. You know, the next question ought to be, do I need more money? You see what I mean? Like, everybody always thinks they need more money. Do they? No.
No.
Most people don't, you know. The money they have is fine to do what they're doing.
My question, I mean, the big if for me is my kids. Do I want to move them to California, because what we have here, I don't think I could duplicate that over there. Well, I know I couldn't, so that's really the question for us.
So so where you are now is way better for your kids.
Yes.
Okay. And you know, so test, is that in reality more important than any other factor?
Yeah.
Well, then there's really nothing to discuss.
Thank you. We're settled then.
Yeah, because if the most important factor is that, and it's just, like hands down, that, what you've got is better, then you can move on. See, you can move on to doing something productive with your time rather than living in this virtual reality of the maybe.
Exactly. You're right. That's true.
So,
I got that right now.
yeah, most of my living was made training business people.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I trained them was by analyzing things like this, just the way we just did. That's what I trained them to do for themselves, actually. And they paid me like $900,000 a year for a while to do it, too.
Well, I'm sure you helped a lot of people.
I did, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you something. There were a whole lot of people who were not happy that I went into what we're doing now.
I bet.
Because they didn't get it, and they wanted the other stuff. They wanted me to keep doing that, and I didn't have time to do both. That's really what happened. I have gone out of business. Like, I remember when I sold my watch band factory, I sold it to my backer, and I went into my banker. I decided to move my account up 5 blocks to another branch because I didn't want to walk down the 5 blocks to stay at the branch I was at. Because I moved into a different loft a few blocks north. And so I was sitting talking to my banker, and he said, "What are you going to do now?" And I said, I'm going to be a psychotherapist. And he looked at me in horror. He said, "My God," he said, "that is the strangest change of occupation I have ever heard." I'll never forget it,
Well, had you been thinking about it, or did you come up with that on the spot there? You're gonna...
No,
Yeah.
I had always wanted to be a psychotherapist, and everything else I did was a means to an end, to earn the money to train myself, But when I was a psychotherapist, I hated it. I hated it. And so I stopped after 3 years, and I went into, doing the seminars, and it went on from there,
Well, I have a similar story. I was working for a television station covering sports, and I got tired of doing it. And I was talking to my sister. We were driving in the car, and I said, I can't do it anymore, Kim. And she said, "Well, what are you going to do? You have a great job. It's perfect. You love it." I said, "Well, I don't know." And I looked out of the car window, and I saw a fire station. And I said, "I'm going to be a firefighter." Just to say. And I did it. I did it.
How long were you a firefighter for?
Oh, it took 4 or 5 years to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's why I asked if you had thought of it prior to that, because I had never thought about being a firefighter. It just happened to be going down the road and seemed like a good thing to do.
And that was 5 years.
Yeah.
That was another 5 years. Well, now, hey, great.
Well, you just kind of have to follow, the thread. I just always knew I wasn't going to be somebody that worked 40 years at the same job, and that's okay. I don't. That seemed, that I would change and all that stuff. But when I had kids, it changed everything. Then I couldn't be so spontaneous about moving and changing jobs and all that stuff.
We'll test this. Are my children keeping me in touch with reality?
Yeah.
Nice. Because they're a good influence on you.
It is. It is.
Lower your camera just a little bit
Okay.
so that you're... Yeah, that's good. Okay. Barb is doing that too. So, let's see. I want you both to test, is there something that I need to locate and cure now, at this moment, during this conversation?
I get a yes.
And Barb?
Yes. Resolve or something.
Go to the hub. And test down the hub. Barbara, you on the hub? You there?
Not yet.
You know, I was on the hub earlier today because I just knew I needed to do something over there. And I got this lesson in, what is it? I think it's skill, I have to look, it's the pathological matrix one.
Uh-huh.
And it was a relationships lesson.
Huh.
And I didn't really understand that well, but went through it. It was relationship comparison failures.
Okay. Didn't do that one yet.
You haven't done that one?
I've never heard of that one. I'm in pathological matrix. So there it is. Comparison failures.
Read me
Yeah.
a little. Read us a little from the lesson.
Well, you know, it's funny because it kind of is what we've been talking about today. All right, this relationship item, comparison failures, like relationship inabilities and non-accomplishments, is also sourced by a set of occurrences. Okay? I find a better partner for certain things I thought my partner was good for, or I discover that something else compares better than my partner. If it doesn't add up to change, it's okay. I didn't get, doesn't add up.
Suddenly I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? It got kind of loud there. Can you hear me, Barb?
Yeah.
Now I can, yeah.
Okay. Okay, it says if it doesn't add up to a chain, it's okay. Does anybody get what that means?
Chain?
A chain. Okay, there's an example, so I'll just read the example. For example, you have an affair and find out that the other person is a better sexual partner. Your spouse doesn't interfere with the other relationship. Eventually you get tired of the other relationship and you say, sex isn't that important anyway. You also find that you don't care that much about sex anymore, and so you never really get into having sex with other people because the other comparison failure was a failure in itself. If it never becomes a chain, then it never undermines your relationship. You might even feel it strengthens your relationship. Now, after reading that and going through it before, I think,
I'll tell you what.
yeah.
Like, does anything occur to you like how to do something with this?
Um,
Like, what could you test? What would you test? Barb, what do you think you would test?
Whether you can find chains or whether you've done anything in a relationship that was a comparison.
failures, yeah.
That failed.
What do you get?
Oh,
Barb, what do you get when you test that for yourself?
Yeah.
Can you
I didn't.
recall something?
Well, I just didn't, commit to one person soon enough, and then I would, or I would push the limits, like, try to break all the rules during, the relationship to see, and just assuming that the person didn't care, like whether it was drugs or affairs and things like that.
Jen, what about you? What would you do with it?
what would I do with this? Well, I tested, have I had any of these comparison failures in my relationship? And I tested yes. And then I tested that I use past relationships to, as like a measuring tool for the relationship I'm in now.
Okay, right. So this would be
Yeah.
the comparison failure.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
test this question. Is my husband a real friend to me?
Is my husband a real friend to me? Yes.
And do I feel as though I am a real friend to him?
Am I a real friend to him? Yes.
Okay. Well, you may... here, another thing to test is there any way of comparing that to something else?
Yes.
How would you compare it?
Well, I just compare it to the way I behaved in other relationships and the way I am in this relationship.
And?
And I'm so much better now than ever.
So say, I like my... Test this. Just hold your hand up. I like myself better.
I like myself. Yeah.
Barb, I have one for you. Test, do I like myself better now than I did a year ago?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it's how you like yourself in a relationship that matters. Relationships aren't about the partner, they're about you.
Right.
Like, how do you feel about yourself in this relationship? And you seem to feel pretty good about yourself in this relationship.
I do. I feel good about myself.
And, see,
And, yeah.
I'm sorry, you were going to say something. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
When I started in Munich, I remember you would say stuff like, you would talk to this person or they thought you a certain way, but you just don't care. Like you really put yourself out there and you just don't care. And I just can't imagine that. And now I know what you mean. I feel like that. I feel good about myself in this relationship. And, if my husband doesn't see it, then that's not, his loss, really. I'm not living to make him happy, you know what I mean?
Good point. You know, I think maybe the most successful person I've ever known in relationship is Franny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that makes her so successful is exactly what you just said about yourself. That Franny is in a relationship for her, and she isn't there to try to please the other person. She's there to be good, to be good,
Right.
to be great. And she requires things of other people. And that's important. That's always very important to have requirements for other people. And she seems never to be afraid of losing anybody, so of course she never does lose anybody. God, you know, it's the funniest thing. There was a New Year's Eve where Franny and I, was one of the first New Year's Eves we spent together. Maybe we knew each other 2 or 3 years, and we were just home in my loft in New York, just the two of us, and an old boyfriend called her and asked her to come over. So he came over with these 2 women he was with, and he was saying how he was still in love with Franny, and how he was like crazy to ever have gotten out of the relationship with her. You know, what it was like, I felt like I was out sailing somewhere on the ocean and I was passing a ghost ship. That was the feeling that I had listening to that. You know, it was very eerie. You know? But it's...
So you're okay with it?
Yeah, it certainly portended things to come, because I realized that he was telling me about me and how I would feel.
Right.
You know, and I understood that. You know, he wanted to, you know, give me something.
Fired, Rosella wants you to go.
Oh, I will. Tell her I'll call her in 5 minutes, okay?
I can't now, but I'll type it. Here.
Test it. Both of you test this. Have I cured something?
Have I cured something? I'm gonna yes.
Barb, have you cured anything in the call?
Yeah, I don't think so. I accepted something you did as a cure.
Test what you accepted. What was it? What comes to your mind?
But there's
Hello?
Oh, there's Ross. Hi, Ross.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question for Barb.
We're almost done, Ross. It's just we're about 2 minutes away from completion.
Ah. Okay. Should I get off the call?
No, stay.
Okay.
That's why I called you, so you could stay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bootsy. What were you saying?
Okay. It just came to mind, and it's something that I used to do. And so, I don't know, I just thought maybe you did this. I just got the urge to ask you. When you're in a relationship and that person is madly in love with you, it's happened, right?
Yeah.
Couple times. Not recently.
Do you ever think there's something wrong with them?
Yeah. I used to.
Do you now, Barb? Do you now?
No. I mean,
it-
they want something or they see it.
Well, test, Barb. Right now, hold your hand up so we.
Actually, I still think they're not the one I want. You know, usually the one that's like lukewarm or aloof is the one. That's like they don't need me.
Well,
Or usually I'm more interested.
okay. Test
And
this,
then I feel insecure.
Barb, test this question. Do I build virtual realities around people who are not very interested in me? What do you get there? Hold your hand up
No,
so we can...
what happens is, no, not really. No. I mean,
Okay.
people that get interested in me and then I do something that causes them to see something that scares them. And then I don't give it up. I don't stop trying to get them back, and then it just gets worse. I want them to, I want to start it over, but I can't
Okay,
erase certain things.
is that a virtual reality that I'm trying to live in?
Mm. I don't know, I mean, it feels pretty real. I mean,
Well, the
Okay.
fact is,
Okay.
here's this person who's saying they're not so interested in you, and you're still trying to get them. Are you trying to live in a virtual reality?
yeah, I guess so.
Well, did you get a test on it?
Yeah.
Ross, what do you test?
I test yes.
And Jen?
I tested yes. And then the ones that are super interested in you, you're not interested in them. Is that what you said?
Well, I am, but I'm trying to, when I find out that hanging out with them jeopardize the other one, then I keep it at a distance. And I actually think a virtual reality when I think virtual reality sometimes is that I think the person is not interested in me, but they are, but that's just the way they are. Like I want it to look different or sound
I
different. They are interested in me, but that's how they look when they're interested in someone, and they want me to just be, and when I push them to be different, say more than.
And when you say that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's all right. I think I just really, I should probably just not. I should stay away from relationships with people. I have no expectations. There's just a particular scenario that I've wanted, and then when I get close to it, I push it away.
When you just said, I should stay away from relationships, is that a virtual reality?
I guess I don't really know what virtual reality means. I mean, I can't stay away from relationships.
Well, does
I should
it
stay away
test?
from the ones I think I want.
Does it-
have people.
Does it test as a virtual reality?
Yeah.
Okay, Jen, does it test for you as a virtual reality?
Yes.
And Ross, you?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'll tell you that before we get off, I'll just tell you like a little theory that I've developed about virtual reality, which is that, everybody seems to think that people try to live in virtual realities because they're avoiding reality. But what I've noticed is that people are not avoiding reality. They want the virtual reality. It's a preference.
It's real.
It's not an avoidance. It's an approach. They're trying to move towards something rather than move away from it. And if you're trying to live in a virtual reality, what you have to develop the knack of doing is recognizing where reality is, like in confluence with the virtual reality that you want to move towards. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, Jen, test this. Like, did I do that today? Have I done that today?
I get a yes.
Okay. Okay, everybody, let's go to the 144th dimension.
my favorite place.
This movie was given to you by HUM, the World Ministry of Immunics, which enables you to cure medically incurable diseases. We also produce the Cure Drive in the iCollege of Immunics. This is the home page. And as you see here, the movie that starts playing automatically when the page opens is a 3-hour tutorial film, which underneath it is the beginning of a series of movies. If you click on these links, you go to another movie that's a continuation of the tutorial, showing different aspects of the things that people need to get into when they cure things. The movie shows many people curing things. You'll find complete cure tutorials on the home page. Under the group at the top is another, this is a video and text tutorial, and if you click on the link, you'll see it has 10 lessons, and you can click on each lesson and you'll see it that the lessons are movies interspersed with explanations. And if you continue scrolling down the home page, you'll find a huge bank of movies of people curing things. Here's one of someone curing multiple sclerosis that you can click on and these play. Hopefully this one will play in a moment. There it is. So that woman cured PPMS and MS. Here you'll find people from every continent: Europe, the US, Asia, Canada. This woman cured shingles, and in this particular movie that's what she's demonstrating. And at the top of the home page you will find links to the cure meetings that we have every week. 9 p.m. New York time, Rome time 8 p.m. Underneath the cure meetings you'll find a link to Friend Me. It's actually Bayard. I'm Bayard speaking to you on Facebook, and you'll meet many people who are my Facebook friends there who have cured various diseases. Many of us have cured herpes, which is what I cured. Also there, if you have trouble getting signals, there is a whole bank of movies that focus on people who are just starting to get their first signals. Many of these people went on to bigger and better things, and you see them in other movies. But these are movies about their signals, how they got their first signals. At the very top of the home page, you will find above the masthead a link to the cure shows. And we documented people curing things on, we did this on the phone. There are shows on about 75 diseases, and the diseases are listed alphabetically, as you can see. You actually hear the people curing these diseases during these shows. That's post-traumatic stress syndrome from 9/11, the catastrophe. We have a show on that, and fever, somebody curing the fever, several people curing fibromyalgia, flu. We had a flu hotline, and there are many people. These people are actually curing flu, and the flu stops. It clears up during the 15 or 20 minutes of the call. It doesn't take long to cure the flu. Over here you have paralysis, parasitic parenting, Parkinson's disease. When you cure something, please join your voice with the voices of the many people who came before you by reporting your cure in our poll, which you can do right above the tally of the cures that people have reported is here at the top. And as you can see, there's a little link here. And if you click on that, you will come to a form that enables you to report your cure. This page is the hub of the Webb College. And as you can see, there are detailed lessons on how to remove viruses, cure cancer. Here's a movie on the right here of a doctor who actually years ago cured the flu on camera. You'll notice that skill 1 in the hierarchy of skills is cure physical diseases. That's actually the easiest thing with this particular approach. And I've put a great many things in the hierarchy of skills that relate to curing physical diseases, such as ending trauma, working on your organs. Now, if we go into the Recode Your DNA, there are 10 applications or 11 applications, and Recode Your DNA is one of them. If we go inside here, what we see is a page with a huge amount of links. And then if we look at the links on the right, after the ones on the left which prepare you, these are the actual lessons. And you can see some of them. It might be hard for some people to see why blind installation procedure is related to recoding your DNA. And this is why we've put it in this application, so that it relates it in your mind. This is the reason the Webb College is organized the way it is to relate things for you in your mind. And obviously there are a huge number of things, like if you're curing cancer or herpes or any medically incurable disease, it's obvious that there are a great many things that you have to learn. And they're different for everybody. You do not have to learn everything that's listed here. And in fact, cure is instantaneous. And it's always unexpected how it will come. Like, watch these women. They're going to give you a perspective. This is a good way to conclude this little overview I'm giving you here. Say, can I go to the 144th dimension? See if you get a signal on that. Can I go to the 144th dimension?
Can I go to the 144th dimension? Yes? I guess I can.
Go ahead and do it.
Okay,
Okay.
both of you go to the 144th dimension.
I'm taking myself to the 144th dimension.
Me too.
No stopping for gas on the 8th dimension.
I feel clear.
I feel less interested in anything below the 144th dimension.
Can we stay here all the time?
I know, exactly.
Well, I mean, this would take a lot of backstory, but there are some decisions that my family's making that I now feel clear about.
Yes, because when you have that perspective from the 144th dimension,
Yeah,
you simply don't care about anything as much.
that's exactly it. But I don't care doesn't sound so good.
Well, see, that's right.
But it's it. That's really
Not in effect.
When people hear we say we don't care, they go, "Well, God, that's sick," you know.
I know.